So you just did some heavy deadlifts and your back's feeling a little stiff. I'm gonna go through a couple stretches, help loosen it up. But first, it's okay, one, if your back is stiff after heavy deadlifts, much like it's okay if your legs are stiff after heavy squats, much like it's okay if your chest is stiff after lots of bench press. It's okay if your back is stiff after a lot of rows. This is a normal adaptation. But with your back, obviously, there's a little more risk because we're concerned about the discs. So it's really important. If I haven't emphasized it enough, it's really important that you are keeping your spine fixed as you deadlift. Okay, this is important for you to understand. You need to first understand how to segment the spine, which is what we're gonna start with. Then you need to know how to fix the spine. Okay, and by I say fix the spine, I mean fix it. Keep that spine locked. So here's what we're gonna do. Start on your hands and knees, and we wanna find neutral, but we first wanna go into flexion of the spine and then extension of the spine. And this segmentation comes from each vertebrae moving independently. Okay, I want to be able to move from the tailbone all the way up to the skull. And as I extend and flex, paying attention to where you feel that discomfort. If the discomfort right now, you feel it on either side of the spine, almost along the muscles next to the spine, maybe just above the pelvis, okay, this is normal. If you're feeling discomfort through the vertebrae as you flex and extend, then you probably compressed your disc. Sometimes it sounds a lot worse than it actually is. We do need to let it rest a little bit, and movement and getting some blood to flow through there is what's going to help. So as we flex and extend, we're loosening up the spine. Now the next thing we're gonna do, feet, knees a little wider, hands a little closer, one hand comes behind the head, we're gonna rotate. We're just gonna gently bring that elbow down to the hand, and then right back up. Down to the hand, right back up. 2 and 1. Switching sides. Hand behind the head, elbow down to the hand, and reach up. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Okay, now we're gonna bring the knees together, hands wide. We're gonna drop the hips down to one side, look over the opposite shoulder, alternating side to side. 10, 9, 8, 7, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. All right, next part, sit on your butt. Recognize this, the general prep. Now through the hips. I'm gonna drop the knees down, just rotate back and forth, windshield wipers here. Keep the shoulders away from the ears. I wanna get the shins down to the ground. We're loosening up through the pelvis. As we loosen up through the pelvis, this creates a little bit more space for the spine. Okay, get a little rotation through the spine as well for another 2 and 1. Okay, now we're gonna go into a 90-90 position. This position's important to get right because this is how we create our tension. 90 at the knee, 90 at the hips, okay, 90 at the knee. I'm gonna take my other arm, it's gonna keep myself upright. Now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna reach with the opposite arm. So I'm gonna my left foot forward, I take my right hand, I'm gonna reach forward with the palm up, and I'm gonna exhale. Reach forward, and then inhale, come back up. And then each exhale, I want you to go a little bit further. Open up through the spine. 2 more. Last one. Furthest reach, palm up, and back up. Okay, we're gonna get that other leg forwards, cross-legged position. Let's keep the spine straight, and then we're just gonna hinge. Open up through the hips. I'm gonna leverage, so if I'm tight through the hips, I can put my hands down on the shins, push the knees out as I hinge, help open up through the hips. You can also throw in a pigeon here if you like it, but I like the movement. I don't want to, the goal here is to create some movement, some blood flow, as opposed to just static stretching, because the movement is what's going to help loosen things up, which is what's causing that stiffness. Okay, now we go 90-90 from the other side. Okay, I want to get that position, shoulder away from the ear, inhale and reach. Exhale and back up. 4 more. 3, 2, and 1. Back up, other leg on top, hinge for 5, leverage down, legs 2, 3, last 2, and 1. Good. Okay, we're gonna finish this up. Go into a saddle position. So we're going to get onto your knees. There's 3 stages to this. Do whichever stage you feel most comfortable with. So stage 1 here, I'm going to get my tops of my feet down on the ground. Knees can be wide or narrow. Just let it feel natural. I mean, if your ankles hurt, it might not feel natural. And you can put something underneath your ankles to help support it. Then I want to press the hips up. What we're doing here is we're getting our hips into terminal extension. So full extension through the hips. That spine should be extended. This should feel good now on the spine, because for deadlifting, we're putting a lot of pressure on the opposite side, right? Like we're putting all the pressure on the opposite side. Here, we're helping relieve it. And for some of you, if you've got some disc issues, even unrelated to the deadlift, okay, but related to tension in the deadlift, this can help relieve it. Now, stage 2 is going down onto your forearms. Okay, if you need to stay in stage 1, that's fine. Stay in stage 1, and if you can, stage 3, all the way down. Head on the ground. I'm just going to breathe through this here. 5 breaths. Two more. In through the nose, out through the mouth. Last one. And back up. All right. So on this, the goal, help create some space in through the spine, some space through the hips. This is good to do, break up your day if you find that your back gets stiff. Again, if you can move, okay, it's more important to do this than static stretching, the movement even, and combine it with the breathing. It's gonna help increase the blood flow. It's gonna help reduce some of that inflammation, or at least that tension that's created from the inflammation, as opposed to static stretching, right? We wanna flush it. Think of the dynamic movement like a pump. We're pumping all of the fluids out of the area that's causing that discomfort. Do this a couple times a day. It's really, if you cut out all my talking, it's 3 to 5 minutes of work. If you find one stretch feels better than the other one, do that one a little bit longer. But don't worry if your back's a little stiff from deadlifts. That's okay. That being said, deadlift properly. Keep that back straight. Know your progressions. There's no point using a barbell if you don't know how to use kettlebells, you don't know how to segment your spine, you don't know how to keep it fixated. So do these stretches when you need to. Keep deadlifting, you'll get better at it.